Hello, everyone. My name is Francesca Giulia Tavanti, and I am the art program leader at Istituto Marangoni Firenze. Today, I am here, and I'm really honored to introduce you Andy Picci, a conceptual artist, and also the mentor of our art area of our school. So thank you, Andy, for coming. Thank you for being with us today. And the theme of our discussion is digital art. So that's why we are here. I would like to start for the very first question, asking you something that probably is quite weird, actually, but I'm very curious about your opinion. What is digital art? Because we constantly talk about it, but it's a definition, a huge definition that embraces many different things. So, which is your point of view and which is your definition of digital art?
Hi, Francesca, and everybody. Thank you for having me. I feel blessed to have the opportunity to contribute with my humble opinion and little experience. But I guess digital art, as you said, is a very vague uh, ex expression. You know, it can integrate loads of things, and it means everything and nothing at the same time. I guess digital art has to be with art that is either created for the virtual, either created by the virtual. Um, I guess those two distinctions can work end by end because it's the same thing like with a sculptor. If he sculpts with his hand or like if he molds shapes, it will still be a sculptor in the end. And I think with virtual and virtuality, sorry, and then digital art, it's basically the same process. People can use virtuality to interact with reality. They can use virtuality to create a new world. They can use virtuality to reproduce what exists in the physical world, but they can also use virtuality to create things that could not exist in the real world. So following this path of thoughts, I guess that digital art um, can be like loads of different art practice as long as they interact in a way or another with the virtuality and technology that surrounds us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Andy. And I think it's a quite natural question now, which is your artistic approach to digital art, how you personally um, intend and digest the concept of digital art in your artistic practice. Or in other words, if you prefer, which is your relationship with reality, virtuality and reality.
um, yeah, I guess it pretty evolved through the time. Um, what interested me in the beginning with technology, I mean, I was a bit of a geek. I'm always been interested in new technologies, gadget, video games, all these kind of new forms of expression. And in this sense, I felt like computer as well as smartphones uh, are a tool, obviously. This we all agree. I mean, there is no way not agreeing to that. But then what happened with what we consume through smartphone and computers. For instance, Instagram, Facebook, all these platforms, Netflix, whatever, are also tools allowing us to do a certain amount of interactions. Netflix allows you to watch movies, Instagram to share pictures, Facebook to share articles, I guess today, but it used to be a chat mostly before. Um, and so my aim was to not limit it my questioning to the main tool, which would be the computer or the smartphone, but to push it to the tool that is provided through this gate. So how can I use Instagram or Facebook or other platforms as a medium of art and not just as a gallery to showcase my art? So I guess I started trying to use Instagram as a proper medium, the same way a painter will use a paint, and sculptors will use metal or stone. So I was like, really try to convert the medium out of what it was made for and find a new way to use it. And little by little, I started creating some sort of digital performance. When I was just building a virtual character represented by my face, of course, but not behaving and acting at all like me. So literally, I was separating my real self from my digital self and putting them in duality, as in a battle. It was interesting to see people feeling like they knew me, but they just knew the representation I was offering them. And this led me to when I discovered that I was able to create Instagram filters. And I was like, okay, this is a real good opportunity to use Instagram as a medium and to say something other than just showcase my work. And then this led me into the 3D world of renderings, but also into interactivity. I felt like prior to this, people engaging with my content on Instagram were very limited. Like they could see it, they could comment it, but they could not interact with it. And suddenly, like the augmented reality uh, presented under the form of face filter, but still is augmented reality, added interaction. And so people were able to interact with my work. And then it became interesting because like if you take something and you made it something new, then is it still my art or is it something new you created, you know? And all this kind of questioning about the copyrights in the age of digital art. And I guess it's a never ending path of thoughts, but this is where I am today, like trying to make something people can use to interact with their physical surrounding. Sorry, that was loads of information, but it was a very vague question, so I had to cover kind of everything.
And nowadays, now we are living a very particular situation. How have you managed now the pandemic moment and the relationship with reality through our screens, through all these tools now in our hands? Because I think that we are really in front of a digital acceleration. Now it's
Yeah,
a really
definitely.
fundamental theme in the contemporary debate. Nowadays we are talking about NFT, and if you jump from one channel to another one, you constantly find contents around digital acceleration. So I'm really interested in talking with you about this specific aspect, because you are not just a digital artist. You are a conceptual artist that have started working with digital art since, uh, probably for a very long period. So I would like to know your position nowadays.
Well, I guess, of course, the lockdown, the whole pandemic situation, it was, I mean, a disaster, but interesting on so many levels. Um, I guess the first thing that kind of triggered me as an artist was the fact that it was the first time for a generation, at least, that the whole world was living the same thing. You know, usually like I make art out of what I experience in my life and what inspires me, what I meet, see, experience, you know. And um, and suddenly this situation was something that could resonate with everybody. And so, I mean, it's very interesting because as an artist, this is a very rare opportunity to be able to discuss with about something that will resonate with everybody. But at the same time, lots of responsibility because everybody is not experiencing it the same way and has different background and consequences due to it, you know. So it was a very challenging and and kind of tricky moment, but I felt what for sure everybody experienced somehow was this this sensation of being locked and at the same time of rediscovering itself, like having going inside our inner self and trying to reflect on what is life, what is important to us, what have we built, and what we are trying to achieve as a human being. And um, and all those questions obviously exist long time before virtuality, because like the reason why are we here, what do we believe in, what is the sense of life, you know. It's like a generic question with no, there is not only one answer, there is a multitude of answers depending on what you're trying to perceive. and in this sense, like virtuality just allowed the people to kind of experience this in a visual way. Before it was like all these interaction were physical. Like, oh hi, how are you? I'm missing my friends. I'm meeting them. I'm going to a live gig, and suddenly um, they discover a new way of experiencing life, and these new ways are in no, I mean, they should never replace the physical one. They should come as an enhancement. They should come as new opportunities. Like um, if you want to see a live gig of a musician, let's say he goes on stage and you want to be there to dance with people, of course. But if this musician is only playing, I don't know, in a foreign country, you might be happy to actually see the YouTube video of the gig, and it doesn't. It's just a matter of what you are trying to experience. In the same way, like of course, it's great to meet friends at the bar and speak and laugh, and interact with each other. But at the same time, like the same way we are discussing now, it is nice to be able to interact with people from around the world and without limitation of travels. And in this sense, I think that people were worried and afraid of technology way more before than now. But I really hope that this situation showed them that this should not be a replacement. It should just be an addition to life, and we should use technology to to accomplish what we cannot accomplish in the physical life somehow. Don't know if this makes any sense.
No, no, it makes sense. And we have a direct experience because as a mentor of our courses, you have started working with our students thanks to technologies. So we have had different lessons and you are interacting with our students. And again, we are really honored because talking about your experience, sharing your experience with our students is really, really important. Also, we are working on a contest with not only multimedia students, but also fashion design students and fashion business students. So the question that I would like to ask you is, what is your opinion around the new technologies applied to an interdisciplinary approach? So in the dialogue between art and fashion, I think that new technologies, especially digital art, has helped a lot. No, and we
Yeah.
hmm?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think it just come as again as an addition, like as a new layer of expression. It once again, like if we think about fashion, okay, lately there is no longer fashion weeks, so brands needs to present their collection, so they present it mostly through video or like interactive experiences. um, some have made some video games too. It's very interesting to see suddenly when you kind of aren't able to go the traditional way and you have to create new forms of expression, like what we are capable of accomplishing. And I really think that all this virtual art expression discussion we are having should come like a new opportunity, should not replace. um, if you're a brand designer, like you design clothes, if your clothes are made to be designed physically, just design them physically, but get interested in how virtuality can enhance your experience. It can be interactive augmented reality, it can be a virtual reproduction, it could be like uh, making rendering, I don't know, I say whatever goes through my mind. But if you want to present your clothes while burning but not consuming, with virtuality you can do that. You can make them burn and never consume. So this was an idea through a million, it just came like this. But I really feel like at the same on the same on the same level, if you're designing clothes that cannot exist in the physical way, maybe it's interesting for you to be a digital clothes designer. And this won't prevent you from eventually one day collaborating with a physical designer to reproduce them physically. I really feel like as all the creative industry, we all have our specificity and our our expertise in a certain domain, but it is all about sharing, collaborating, and there is no limitation like oh, you're a graphic designer, I'm a designer, he's a videographer. I mean, he just choose to specialize himself in this field, but he has a whole knowledge of creativity and research that can be complementary to your research, and it is by exchanging that you can like create new things somehow.
Thank you. Going to the end, I would like to ask you the last question. What would you like to share as an advice with young creatives and, let's say, young artists?
Well, it might sound as a very cheesy advice, but please do trust me on this one because I didn't trust it when people said it, and I regret not trusting it before. Do what you want. It's really like do not chase the hype, because if you're trying to, I mean, there is two figure cases. Uh, you chase the hype and you succeed. You will feel that you haven't succeeded for what you had to say. If you chase the hype and you do not succeed, you will feel like you have lost your life running after something that didn't matter to you. But on another hand, if you just do what you like to do, um, if you fail, it will not matter because you will have done what you wanted with your life. But if you succeed, this will be like an emotion you cannot imagine because suddenly you have succeeded with your vision and your interpretation. So really like be aware of advices and of people opinion because they will help shape you, and everybody is still learning all the time. But trust your vision, go for it, and eventually a day it will be relevant and resonate to someone, you know, and this someone can make the world difference for you, I guess.
Well, I completely agree with you. And well, thank you very much, Andy. Thank you for this short but intense conversation.
Well,
Hope
thank you
to
very much
see
for
you,
having me.
hope to see you soon.
For sure.
I will invite you in Florence. And yes, thank you very much.
Can't
Goodbye.
wait. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.